smash the price of home building in New Zealand, unquote.
Question number 7, the Honourable Todd McClay.
Mr Speaker, to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, does he stand by all his statements on the United Nations Global Compact on Migration?
The Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Yes.
To the Minister, has Cabinet decided to commit New Zealand to the United Nations Compact on Migration to be signed in Morocco next week?
Mr Speaker, the answer is no at this time, because we are dealing with a compact process that was signed up to by the then National Party on the 19th of December 2016. Committed New Zealand to signing the New York Declaration for Refugees and Migrants, and to have the process of time going forward to this time in 2018. This is the document the National Party signed up to in a resolution, and it was signed in New York unanimously, a process that Murray McCully, my predecessor but one, signed this country up to.
Mr Speaker, is he aware that the agreement that has been negotiated by his government makes no distinction between legal and illegal migration and calls for restrictions on freedom of speech and the media?
The answer is that I've studied very carefully those allegations that have been made by some countries around the world and some people in a worldwide campaign. Both those allegations are demonstrably false.
Mr Speaker, does he agree with New Zealand First Leader Winston Peters, who said this week that the problem with agreements like this is that non-binding sometimes becomes binding, and if so, why is his government still considering signing New Zealand up to this UN agreement?
The answer to that is that the wisdom of sound decision-making is that if there are 8 facets to a decision, then each one has to be examined, and the then answer by the Minister was to say that all 8 aspects will be looked at, and they have been looked at. And what has been alarming, though, is that a process that the National Party was once for, they're now against.
Has the Minister seen any statements which says the UN Compact could restrict the ability of future governments to set immigration and foreign policy?
The answer to that is yes. There are 2 statements in circulation. The National Party issued a statement which says the Compact, quote them, the Compact could restrict the ability of future governments to set immigration policy, unquote. And then there is the text of the Compact. I draw the House and National Party to this text because it's apparent that they have not read this document.
Mr Speaker, is he aware that Australia, the US, Israel, Austria, Poland, the Czech Republic, Bulgaria, Hungary and Slovakia have all said that they will not sign the agreement, citing concerns over sovereignty? And if so, why is the government still considering giving the UN a say over New Zealand immigration policy?
It begs the question, if that was the concern of the member and the opposition, why did they in September of 2016 sign us up to it?
Mr Speaker, will the government release all advice it has received on the UN Migration Compact negotiated by his government and allow Parliament to vote on this agreement before committing New Zealand to it next week?
I say, Mr Speaker, that when the previous government on September 2016 at the General Assembly signed up to a resolution adopted by the General Assembly on 19 September unanimously, no such requirement for reference to the House was then made. And the second thing, of course, is that because it's not legally binding, why would such a democratic decision be made in this House? And if it was required, why didn't they insist upon it back then in 2016?
Mr Speaker, when the Minister says that it's non-binding, is he also aware that the Paris Agreement on climate change is non-binding, an agreement that it has having effect upon New Zealand legislation and decisions made by his government?
The reality, of course, is that these are 2 utterly different subjects. Utterly different subjects. One is one of the greatest issues of our age, recognised internationally, and is an issue that we need to have surely bipartisan support, if possible, from reasonable, sane, sound politicians. There used to be bipartisanship on foreign policy and indeed on this policy as well, and the then opposition did not protest back in September 2016 about what National is doing, but now that the shoe's on the other foot, so to speak, they've done a double take and they want to get out.
Question number 8, Jane Zanetti.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.